Hello rail fans, and welcome to another French Fried Trades Minecraft locomotive tutorial. Today, we're going to be building this CSX U30-B locomotive in one of their early paint schemes. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. As usual, I'm going to be building it on the front of the train I already have. So our first step is to take out a dark oak stair to be the coupler and get it connected up. Underneath that, we put a dark oak fence gate to be an air hose. Come up on the locomotive behind it and delete the fence gate on either side of the coupler. Replace it with dark oak fence and extend that out to be our connected air hoses. Now take out warp stairs to begin the plow. And on the next block down, we need to get a row of 5 right side up and facing this way, coming across the rails. On the next level up, a block of lapis in the middle, and then upside down stairs on each side, upside down facing forward. Above that, 3 lapis in the middle. Then we come around behind it, and we're going to make a T-shaped pattern with lapis. An end rod down above each rail, and behind that, a 5x3 of lapis lazuli block, coming out to each side of the rails here. Then we're going to come around in this gap here with a warped slab to be our stairs to get on the locomotive. And we're going to put them on the bottom of each of these 3 blocks coming up. Same thing on this other side. 3 slabs coming up on the bottom hitbox. Now we need to do our wheels, so take out a block of netherite. We skip 1 block backwards from this and get netherite on each rail with an end rod axle. Behind that, we make a 3x3 of lapis lazuli. Behind that, our next set of netherite wheels with an end rod axle. Then we take a warp stair on the outside edges backwards here, and then forwards on the front lapis block. In the middle, we put a warp slab on the bottom hitbox on each side. Now we take out a dark oak fence gate and we open them into the ends of the wheels here and come around on the other side and open them into the end of the wheels on here. Then we can switch back to lapis lazuli block, and on this second block up we're going to fill in this top middle 3 coming down to the end of the truck here. We come out above those fence gates, and then we're going to spin around, crouch, and place a row of 5 anvils coming across on the bottom to be the air tanks. Extend our lapis out above that, and 1 more block past. Then we're going to swing around underneath and put 3 more lapis on the bottom of that. Then we're going to extend the sides out by another column of 1 on each side here. Once we've done that, we're going to come down to the quarter here and we're going to extend this down another 10 blocks so that this will be 11 blocks long in total. Come across the side on the end here, right to the other side, and go ahead and connect it back up. Then we can continue with our lapis lazuli block, and we're just going to fill all this in on top here with lapis lazuli down to the end of the fuel tank here. Once we filled it into the end, we're going to swing around on top here, and we're going to stand on it, and we're going to crouch, and we're going to place another line of 5 anvils down on the rails to be the other air tank. Then we can swing around behind it, skip a block, and get a block of netherite on each rail with an end rod axle for the next set of wheels. Then a 3x3 of lapis lazuli, then another set of netherite wheels with an end rod axle. Then upside down warp stairs facing this way here, and upside down facing this way here. Then a warp slab on the bottom hitbox of the middle on each side. Then we're going to switch to a dark oak fence gate, and we're going to open them into each of the wheels on this end. And then then swing around here and open them into each of the wheels on this end. Then we switch back to our lapis block and we continue filling in this top middle 3 down to the end of this truck here. We're going to come out over where the fence gates are. In front of that, we need to make a 5x3 coming across to each side of the rails. So 5 wide and 3 high. In front of that, we make this T-shaped pattern in the middle, and we put an end rod down above each rail on either side. Then, a row of warp stairs, right side up, facing forward. Above that, a lapis in the middle, and upside down warp stairs coming off to either side to be the plow. Above that, 3 lapis in the middle. Then we switch to a warp slab and put them on the bottom hitbox of each of these 3 blocks on each side to be the stairs to get up on the locomotive. Then switch to a dark oak stair to be your coupler. Get it stacked up to that second block. Delete the ones you use for placement. Underneath it, a dark oak fence gate for an air hose. Then turn and face the plow, and on either side of the coupler, 2 dark oak fence gates opened into the plow. Now we're going to come on the sides of the trucks with a hopper, and we're going to place a hopper in front of each of the wheels. Same thing here, a hopper in front of each wheel. And then we have to do the other side, so swing around here, a hopper in front of each of these 2 wheels, and a hopper in front of each of these 2 wheels. Then we're going to take out a warp trap door, and we're going to run it across the top outside edge of the trucks, running from wheel to wheel. So from the front wheel to the back wheel. Same thing over here, a row of warp trap doors, and 1 more corner to go, a row of trap doors here. Now we decide which end's the front. My front's going to be facing out there towards the void, making this the engineer side. So come on the back of the fuel tank on the engineer side here, and we're going to put a bell right above that air tank. Then on the top front of the fuel tank, we put 2 crimson buttons. Same thing over here, 2 crimson buttons on the front of the fuel tank. Then we're going to switch to a chain. We put 2 chains coming off the fuel tank here, 1 in that corner, 1 in this corner, 2 chains here, come on down to the back, and we're going to have to crouch to place this one because of the bell. Put a chain there, a chain in that corner, and I just realized I forgot the chains on the other side there, so make sure you do those. And then start filling in this top middle 5 end to end with lapis lazuli. Now come on down to the front of the locomotive, 2 blocks back, and make a row of 3 clay, lapis in the middle on the next one, with clay on each side, and another row of 3 clay. Behind here, 1 column of clay, and then on this side, just 1. On the bottom outside edge, we put 2 clay, and same thing over here, 2 clay on this side. Then behind that on the outside, we're going to make a column of 3 clay blocks. Same thing over here, a column of 3 clay. Behind that, we make a 2x2 of clay on each side, and then lapis lazuli on top of that, and then another column of 3 clay behind those on each side. Then lapis in each corner, and we're going to take out black stained glass panes to be the windows on each side. Then we go ahead and put 1 on each side of the front and a lapis in the middle. Then we can cover this front 3 here and bring that back to be the roof of the cab with lapis lazuli. We put 1 lapis in the middle of the front there, and then sideways warp stairs on each side of the cab on top here. Now we're going to come down to the rear of the locomotive and mark that off here. So same thing as the front, 2 blocks back from the end, a row of 3 clay, and then another row of clay, then lapis in the middle with clay on each side, and then 2 more rows of 3 clay. Now we're going to continue with our clay on bottom here, and we're going to run this from the back all the way up to behind the cab on both sides of the locomotive. Once we have that, we're going to work on this rear end here because there's a big vent back here. So take your clay block coming from the rear end and extend it forward by 6 blocks. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, 6 clay here. Then we're going to put netherite filling in that middle. On the front 3, we're going to put 3 anvils, and then we're going to put above the clay 6 iron bars on each side, because this vent on this locomotive is very see-through. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out a polished black stone slab, and we're going to put that on these last 3 in here. Then we switch back to clay and fill in the 6 above the iron bars on the side. Same thing over here. Fill in these 6. On top of that, we're going to put a row of sideways blast furnace coming down the middle. Then we can go and fill the 6 on top here, coming 3 across. Just fill this all in. Now we can go ahead and fill in this whole side, going from here to the behind the cab with clay all the way to the top. On this side, we raise the first block up by just 1 to leave space for a door. Then the rest of it is all the way up to the top, going to the back of the locomotive. Then we can go ahead and fill this whole top middle with clay as well, coming all the way up to the cab here. When we get up to the front here, we fill in this middle one and the block above the door. Now we're going to take out smooth stone slab, and starting on the very top of the back, start running a row of slabs forward. We're going to come 2 blocks past where that vent is. Do the same thing on the other side. Run a row of slabs across the top here, going all the way to the back. On the top of the back, we put 3 slabs across the top. In the front of this vent, 3 slabs there, and then we run a row of slabs down the middle. Then we switch to polished blackstone brick slabs and fill in these gaps to be the vents. Same thing on this side. Now this vent's not quite looking right compared to the real thing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come on the side above these iron bars, and I'm going to knock out the next row of clay blocks above it. And we'll go ahead and take out iron bars and fill that in as well. This looks more like the size the vent should be. So we'll come over and do the same thing over here. So knock out this first row of clay above it here and replace all those with iron bars. Now in front of this vent here, we have to do some more little vents. So we're going to knock out a 2x2 right here and fill that with bedrock. Kitty corner to that, going down to the bottom, a column of 2 bedrock. And in this bottom corner, we close a trapdoor. Then, we're going to do that exact same thing on the other side of the locomotive here. So swing around in front of these iron bars, knock out a 2x2, put in bedrock, kitty corner to that, a column of 2 bedrock going down, and then put your trapdoor in that corner. Come up on top, on the back here, 2 blocks in front of this vent, we put a smoker in the middle to be the exhaust. Then we're going to swing around to the front here with warped fence gate, and we're going to open those back to back into each other to be the horn. Now we're going to take blue carpet on top here, and anywhere there's nothing built, we're just going to keep filling with blue carpet all the way down the roof line of the locomotive. So just keep dragging it back here. Go right around where this exhaust is on each side and bring it right back to this vent. Now that we have that, we're going to come down by this door on the engineer side here, switch back to your clay block, and in front of that door we're going to stack a column of 2 so it reaches the same height as the door. Then next to that, 3 more coming backwards. Then we're going to swing around on this other side. And behind the conductor side here, we make a row of 4 that's just 1 block tall. And actually we're going to knock off these front corner blocks on each side here. Now we're going to come on the side and do our logo. Skip 1 block in front of the furthest forward vent and knock out this C shape. Fill it with lapis lazuli. Skip a block. We make this backwards L and then 1 in the corner. That's how I do my S's at this scale. Skip a block and we make this X shape. And fill that with lapis. Now we have our logo on this side. So let's go over and do the other side here. So I'm going to do it backwards so placement is right, because we know we skipped 1 block back from the furthest forward vent. Make the X, fill it with lapis, skip a block, backwards L shape and 1 in the top corner, fill that with lapis, skip a block and knock out a C shape. And go ahead and fill that with lapis. Come up to the front here with a stone button. And we're going to put a stone button on either side of the top of the nose, because these were inherited from predecessor railroads and some of them had marker lights. Top middle, an item frame with glowstone for a headlight. Then to the side, a birch sign to be our number plate. And the number for this locomotive is 5354. That's the picture I'm looking at. Same thing on the other side, another sign with our numbers. Now we're going to take out an oak fence to be our railing. Start on bottom here, come up 3, over 1, up 1, and over 1. And we're actually going to make this a 2x2. Skip the middle. Same thing on this side. Up by 3, over 1, up 1, over 1, and make it a 2x2. Then we'll put item frames down here with glowstone for ditch lights. Then we come in with our fence on this side. We're going to come up by 5 here. Then switch to warp fence and connect that to the cab, because only the railings on the end are painted yellow. Same thing here, so we come up by 5 with oak, then we switch to warp and come over to the cab. Now we're going to come down and work on this rear end here. So on this left-hand block of the back porch here, we're going to knock that out and replace it with blue wool. Then we take our oak fence coming from the bottom, up 3 over 1, up 1 over 1, and make it a 2x2. Same thing over here, up 3 from the bottom, over 1, and then up 1 and over 1 and make it a 2x2. Here we come up by 4. Same thing on this side, come up by 4. Then, if you want rear ditch lights, item frames down here with glowstone. Swing up to the top middle, 2 item frames up there with glowstone for rear headlights. On the second block down on each side, we put our sign with our locomotive number, 5354. Same thing on the other side, another locomotive number plate. Then, we're going to take out a ladder and run it up the left-hand side there. Now we're going to take out warped fence for the rest of the railing. Start here and start bringing it all the way to the front of the locomotive here. So just keep coming up with your warp fence to be the railing. Once we get here, we come up by 1 and then over to connect with the back of the cab. Then we got to do the other side. So we're going to do the same thing on this side, still using our warped fence because the rest of the railings on this locomotive are blue. And start from the back and start bringing your fences forward on this side. And just keep it coming here. Once we get to this clay block, we come up by 1, and then over 1, 2, 3, up by 1 again, and then over to connect with the cab. Now we're going to take out blue carpet to do the walkways. So put it up in front of this door and down on these stairs, and just run this carpet all the way down to the back of the locomotive here. When we get to the back, we fill in this whole back porch where nothing's built. And then same thing on this side, we're going to run blue carpet all the way up to the front here. And just keep bringing it forward. When we get to this stair, we put the carpet up there as well. Come around up front, a carpet on that stair, a T-shaped carpet in the front, and then up on these stairs. Now we can take out a door, put one here, and swing around behind the cab, and one in that cab. Use whatever door looks best to you. And I just realized there's another vent up here that we have to do. So, on top, 1 block in front of this door, knock out a 2x2 and fill it with bedrock. Same thing on this other side. We're going to knock out a 2x2 here and fill that with bedrock. Then once we have our bedrock in place, we'll have to replace the blue carpet above it on each side. Now we're going to come in and do the interior. So come in this nose door with prismarine brick slabs. And we'll stack them up to a height of 1 block, coming all the way down the middle here. Behind it, we stack it up to the level of the door. On the front corners here, we're going to stack a column up all the way to the bottom of the windows. Same thing on this side, stack it up to the bottom of the windows. Then, we're going to raise this side up to the same level as the door. Same thing over here, raise it up to the same level as the door. We're going to come back in this gap, and it's tricky to do, but we're going to come another 2 blocks back here. I had to swing around behind it to do it. Then we'll stack 2 blast furnaces behind there. We'll put an end portal for a toilet, and then a door. Then we'll put a slab down there to be our stair to get down. And I'm just going to test these little stairs out to make sure they work, and they do. Then we'll put a door down here, a slab on the left side for a desk, and a lever on the right for the engineer. In the middle, an item frame with a compass, spin around, and put 2 stairs to be seats. Then we can take out a torch and put it back there to light it up. Now the interior is completed. Now we're going to come on the nose here with a string. We're going to place a string in that middle gap. Then we can crouch and put carpet over that string and over that door, and blue carpet over the rest of the nose here. And there you have it, folks. We've completed this early CSX U30-B locomotive. I hope you enjoyed making it as much as I did. I really only made this because this is my favorite CSX paint scheme. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And everyone have a great week. Stay safe.